YouTube and hello Ninth Age community. This is Charles at Irishade Gaming, and I've got another Ninth Age battle report. Happy 2022, and let's start the new year with the new battle report. And on the dock for this evening is a 6,000 point game between Dread Elves and Sylvan Elves. Me playing the Sylvan Elves and a good friend of mine playing me playing the Dread Elves and a good friend of mine playing the Sylvan Elves. So let's start looking at magic. I've got a Warlock Outcast Adept with Evocation using Spectral Blades and Hasten the Hour. I've got a Temple Exarch with the with Divination, so he's got Know the Enemies, just an apprentice. He's BSB, and he also has the Hereditary spell. And then I have some Warlock Acolytes using Perception of Strength and Twisted Effigy. So a pretty minimal, but I find it effective magic phase. And this is actually my deployment. I got my opponent chose sides, dropped his forest, we picked spells, and then I kind of just plopped. The only thing too hard about it. I was happy to have the side with the water for my Kraken. So starting from the left, going to the right, I've got 15 Spears, 10 Dread Knights with the Eye of the Gorgon banner, and my Warlock Outcast on a Raptor. I've got my Kraken in a water train. I've got my Dragon next to that, my Hydra next to the Dragon. I've got my Divine Altar right in the middle of the field next to Raptor Chariot. Big unit of 30 Temple Militants with my Dread Prince and BSB in it, a Gorgon, a Bolt Thrower, or a Dread Reaper, 15 Auxiliaries, another Dread Reaper, 5 Warline Acolytes, and 25 more Spears holding down my other flank. Here's my opponent's counter deployment, and I did drop to go first. We played counterthrust and secure target. So we traded a few. I know my opponent put down one of his archer units. I put down my Gorgon. I put down my Divine Altar. And then I was able to drop everything else. My opponent put down a couple of his Cav units. So starting from the left, going to the right, my opponent's he's got 2 units. I think they're both about 18 strong of Forest Rangers, the Vanguard, and +1 advance rule. He's got 3 Kestrel Knights behind them. He's got a dragon, a druid on a dragon with shamanism, and goodness, what else does he have on that guy? I think he's got the Hero's Heart, and I think MR2 with the Obsidian Rock. Then he's got 2 units of archers. I think they're both about 14, 15 strong or something like that. Maybe even 16 strong. A Tree Father, a Stag Killer, Stag Lord, Wild Hunter Bro, 5 more Heath Hunters with bows, a big unit of Treekin with Thicket Shepherd BSB, or Thicket Beast with a Thicket Shepherd, big unit of Dryads with a Dryad Ancient. The Dryad Ancient is actually general on Div. He's got an Eagle, and then another thing of Heath Hunters, another thing of Forest Rangers with the advance +1 move. And my opponent has this very cool samurai themed Sylvan Elf army going on here. I'm looking forward to seeing how he paints this up. Very dynamic. I love his Kestrel Knights. They're like these hawk samurais from Bushido games. Really cool. Like he's got like the Oni ogres for his Thicket Beast. It's very nice. I think he's gonna, and he's a great painter too. So I'm looking forward to seeing this painted up. And so here we are, all lined up. This is after my opponent's Vanguard. So he Vanguards both his. He doesn't really do a whole lot of Vanguarding on the right of this picture, but he does a decent amount of Vanguarding on his left. And that's about it. So we're going to turn 1 of Dread Elves. So I march up. I don't even think I march. I think I just move up my crossbows into the rune to just kind of I want to try to do some damage on one of those bow units. Pick off as many archers as I can. Move my Gorgon in the ruin, just to give it some cover, but also maybe give it a charge later on. I move my bolt throwers. They're gonna pick on. They got different things they can really pick on. I moved my acolytes back. I kind of didn't really like where they were, to be honest. But I couldn't kind of just go straight across. I kind of felt like they were in a really bad spot, but didn't really have a good place to move them to, unfortunately, without blocking myself in. So they kind of had to sneak around back, and then just reform my spears on the left to be really wide, where if my opponent does want to charge, that whole unit of spears gets to go before his forest rangers, and I'm pretty sure they actually win that fight, just going first. And other than that, move my monsters into position to where I could probably get some charges next turn. And just zoning on the right with my Dread Knights. He's got a lot of chaff over there, so it's going to be curious to see whether or not I can actually get the charges I want, I would say. Magic was pretty uneventful. Except I did get Twisted Effigy off on this archer unit, and I did do some wounds to this archer unit. But other than that, not a whole else happened. I think I might have killed a couple forest rangers on the left there with one bolt thrower. But yeah, not a whole lot happened. So at the start of Sylvan Elves turn 1, his forest rangers charge my auxiliaries who flee. They kind of bounce safely through a bunch of stuff, and everything passes their panic test. Or really, just I think the 2 bolt throwers and the militants pass their panic test. And he decides to chaff with his Kestrel Knights. Kind of, I think he might have failed to redirect. He might have possibly hit a long one in the spears, but again, he wasn't a great option. So he decides to just go on straight, chaff the spears. It's a long overrun, but I mean it's like a really long overrun. I did put Evil Eye on that unit too to try and give him a charge. And then on the right of the board, he's also kind of pushes up with his forest spirits. He does get his trees in the forest a bit. And then he's able to chaff up my Hydra with an Eagle, and he traps up my Dread Knights with some of his Heath Hunters. So definitely, we're both making moves on each other. And going into his magic phase, he gets Chilling Howl on all my shooting units, unfortunately. They're almost in just a bad enough position where I have MR3 on my Temple Militants, but he was able to target one bolt thrower that was just far enough away, so it's kind of good for him. And then he gets Break the Spirit on this unit, which is a bit tough too, because I don't want to take that many dangerous trains to clear some chaff, but if I don't, these guys can just charge right over, so that's a little frustrating. And I take 2 wounds on my Warlock Outcast from his Hail of Doom shot from his Stag character. Thankfully, didn't kill me. It was really close. I just made enough saves. This the Raptor character's got a 4 up with the Destiny's Call, so decent bit of protection, but easily could have died. And this is going into Dread Elves turn 2. So I charge the Eagle. It passes its terror test. And then I charge my Dragon and my Kraken into the Dryads. I have a long overrun with the Hydra that I'm hoping to make. I also attempted to charge the Warlock Acolyte Outcast into the Dryads too. Not that I really wanted her to be in that combat, but I didn't want to get challenged out by the Dragon, which is unfortunately going to happen at this point. She was the only one that failed her charge over here. And I want to say she only needed an 8 with her Raptor. She wasn't close, but she wasn't far. But as it happens, I also charged the Dread Knights into the Heath Hunters because I got to clear the chaff, and the Spearmen get in front of the Forest Rangers. I don't mind going first, trying to kill a bunch, maybe get away, maybe be able to use them later on in the battle. But either way, that also chaffs him up too. And then on this side, I charge with my spear over here. I lose like I a bad chunk of that spearman block. I probably lose like a third of it, which I guess is average for break the spirit, huh? Yeah, you're gonna lose a third. So that was a bit painful. I chaffed the forest rangers with the gorgon, and yeah, just kind of getting ready to go into the magic phase. Which here's a nice overview of the whole battle. I cast Spectral Blades with 3 dice and I get 3 sixes, so it definitely goes off, but I end up losing my Warlock Outcast on the 555 miscast, so that's a bit of a bummer there. The only other spell I got off this phase is I did get the Hereditary spell off. I must have not took a picture of it because that does come into play in a little bit. Combat over here, blow through these guys. Combat over here. The Hydra beats the Eagle. I think it was. I think I didn't kill it. I just did 2 wounds to it, which I thought was weird. But the nice thing is it did flee, and it fled through the other eagle, and it actually panicked the other eagle. So both the eagles are fleeing. So that actually helped me out a lot. Yeah, that made it really easy to decide what to do. Actually, I think because I feel like I did that first, and then I did the Dread Knights. I think I took these pictures out of order. Um, yeah, but now the Hydra's into the Dryads, which I end up killing the champion with the dragon, and then just go to town with the other 2 monsters. That goes very well. We don't break them close. This is where I needed the. If the Warlock Outcast was in there, we would have definitely gone through in 1 round. And then on the other side of the field, I forgot to take a picture of it. The spearmen do end up killing the Kestrel Knights, but I actually had to use the hereditary spell to do the last 2 wounds on him. I think he almost tied combat. I think he might have tied combat. I rolled really poorly. He rolled very well, and I ended up sacrificing my Veil tokens to make sure those Kestrels are dead, because I didn't really fancy them staying alive after something comes in and kills the rest of the spearmen. So going into Sylvan Elf's turn 2, my opponent has a pretty juicy charge into the rear, I believe, of my Raptors that I clearly did not even see, and yeah, that could go really poorly. He does charge here too to clear his chaff, but thankfully he fails this charge. Because, yeah, that would have been bad. Because I was able to turn the Kraken so that he couldn't see me, and he just couldn't see the dragon either. So I thought I was in a great spot, and then yeah, I almost caught it in the rear there. Got very fortunate that he failed that. I believe it was a 9, so a bit high, but I think we've all seen charges like that go very successful. Yeah, you can see how depleted the spearmen are here. He killed like 6 of me, and I think I only did like 4 wounds. So yeah, I think he was winning combat, and I had the opportunity to decide when he did his wounds to me after I attacked him to use the Veil tokens, and it sounded like a good idea just to get rid of him this turn. The dragon charges him. 1 eagle goes off the board. The other one does rally. Dragon makes it in. Rangers go into the Gorgon. And this is how the rest of the board is looking like. Able to get Chilling Hoth again. Again, same thing. I don't have things. I needed to. I moved, it's like I moved all these things, and I just missed the opportunity to check that 1 bolt thrower to make sure that it was within range of my my Temple Militants, because otherwise he's just 2 dicing, Chilling Howl and getting it off with a Master. So shooting wise, I think he does a little bit of damage to my Temple Militants, and then he blows through the Spearmen, but he doesn't kill them all, and he actually fails his pursuit restraint check. So he's not in a great position with his dragon right now, which was very helpful this turn. And going into Dread Elves turn 3, on his turn, I finished off the rest of the Dryads. Yeah, I killed his general with my dragon. Yeah, it's just, yeah, the monsters. He did turn up with his Dryads and do 3 more wounds to the Kraken, so the Kraken is only on 1 wound right here. But I get to go before the Thicket Beast, so there's a good chance to do a lot of damage before its death. And then the Hydra actually just decides to meander off and go take on the, or just really just kind of clear those Heath Hunters up the top. I didn't feel like the Hydra was particularly. It kind of needed to overrun so the dragon could turn in a decent way to look at these guys. Yeah. The Raptor Knights also charged the Rangers. On the previous turn, the Rangers had beat up on the Spearmen, but left them with 4 models left. That's a 4-man unit filler. So they're not under 25%. So they should be able to rally and then hopefully still score that objective on that side of the board. And yeah, this is what we're looking like. The Warlike Acolytes thought about charging the dragon, but decided to maybe just position for another charge later on. The shooting is just going to try and blow off the Rangers they're outside of the ruin right now. They attempted to, I believe, to charge, and failed and went pretty far. And other than that, the temple militants are still zoning the kind of big dudes in the middle who've also just been kind of zoning them the whole game. But they do have those archers nearby that they have to be careful of. And the Hydra is going to use his breath weapon on the Heath Hunters. Ended up getting Perception of Strength off here. I really wanted the Hereditary, and I think I failed 1 spell this time, and I think it was the Hereditary. And my opponent stopped Twisted FG on one of his archer units, which is a good idea, because these guys are kind of out in the open right now. So I ended up putting Perception and Strength just in case, I don't know, one of those guys made a long charge. I figured it'd be better to have it. It's like I kind of had the dice. I felt like I wanted to 4 dice my phase, go 4. I had 8 dice, it's like 4 and 4. It's what I should have done. I ended up going like 2, 3, 3. And again, the spell that I wanted, the Hereditary, I didn't get off, unfortunately. Over here, use the breath weapon and almost kill this unit. 1 guy's left. And then over here in the middle, you guys ever see this this famous scene before? Yeah, we just annihilate those rangers, and no more samurai here. No more samurai over here either. Yeah, the Raptor Knights easily blow through these guys and send them off the board. And the Spears did rally this turn too, so that was excellent. This combat goes well. The Kraken doesn't take a wound, which is awesome. The Chariot contributes a decent amount of damage. The Dragon kills the champion, and yeah, just really wallops on him. Yeah, the nice thing too is I was able to turn the Chariot so that his stagger was again out of arc. My friend felt like the worst thing he did this game is just he did not play with that character right, and he never had a good charge for him. Yeah, this is another circumstance where it'd be great because he's holding here. You know, I'm not breaking him, but he just doesn't have anything to support. So yeah, it's a little rough. Except he does have a little bit of support on his turn. He charges this single Heath Hunter, which I think these guys are the scoring ones, maybe. I know they have a spear into the Kraken, so he has a decent chance to kill the Kraken right here. And other than that, he just moves up his dragon aggressively. You know, he's not really that worried. I do have a champion in my auxiliaries, but he's not really too worried about them. And yeah, he also chaffs with his tree hunter, and then he sort of pivots his his stag hero to try and get a charge next turn. Um, yeah, that's about it. Yeah, he's still got that one eagle on the right flank there that could potentially be chaff or interfere next turn. But this turn's not over yet. He's got chilling howl up on my bolters again. Just need to be a little bit closer to the Temple Militants. But I think that's a bit it for Magic. I actually miss in the shooting phase. He really decimates the Temple Militants. He probably brings them down to like a rank and a half or something like that. I think he uses the breath weapon, he uses the tree roots, he uses two um, archer units, and yeah, they suffer a lot of casualties. This combat over here, I believe this was the dragon starting on the Thicket Shepherd BSB. And then by the end of the combat, the Kraken did die. It died not to the one dude, but to the one thicket beast that was left on its flank. They killed each other simo. And the Kraken did kill the one dude. Actually, no, the Lash Masters killed the guy next to him. Killed the guy that charged. That was nice. And yeah, so on my next turn, I simply uh, didn't really want to go into the stag guy. I thought about it with my dragon, but that's just even that's just still a tough fight. He's got like 4 up. He's got Titanic Might on Sylvan Blades, so he's like AP3, Strength 7. So it's a little not sure about that, and didn't really feel the need to quite risk it at this moment. So I was able to pivot the chariot around and charge the spears with it, or one of his archer units, which fled. And otherwise, I was able to get the dragon out of its arc. I move up my rapid knights over, and he does have a decently long charge into them, but I wasn't too worried about that. And yeah, I move up my spearmen on the right to claim the objective. They got to fight the eagle for it, but not feeling like they can do it. It's only got 2 wounds left. And my Warlock Acolytes charge the rear of the dragon, because this is probably the best circumstance. It doesn't have its breath weapon. It uses breath weapon against the Temple Militants, which, as you can see in this picture, they charge the Tree Father, and they are decimated, but I'm hoping they can kill the Tree Father. It's going to probably be a little tough, but I think they can do it. And yeah, I think a rear plus a charge is probably the best I'm going to get against the dragon, and maybe just honestly break it in combat res. Yeah, I think that's the best I could hope for, because shooting it just seems like it's not going to do enough damage. Even with the 2 bolt throwers so close, they just don't really have enough shots where I could easily see the dragon just failing a discipline test. So, and other than that, my auxiliaries move up to work, put some damage on his other archer unit. And yes, we were successful in breaking the dragon, and we were successful in killing the Tree Father. So this went really well. I believe the only spells we really got off was we got Twisted Effigy off, and we got Know the Enemy off, and then my opponent stopped Perceptive Strength on the Temple Militants, but the Militants were still just barely able to do it. They popped their Rending Banner, and they were just able to kill the Tree Father. And I did that combat first, so that's why you can see they turned around to look at that dragon, not unsure whether or not that was going to happen. The Acolytes go in. I don't think they do any wounds. I rolled very poorly. I think I failed the fear test. Hit and wounded very poorly. He comes back. He only does 2 wounds. I win by 1, and he just fails the discipline check. So, but he does not get run down. So he's still alive right there, and it is going to be his turn next. And on his turn, he charges the chariot, which flees, and then he attempts to charge into the knights, and I believe he Fails. Yeah, I think he didn't really roll high enough. He does charge his eagle here, see if he can break these spearmen. And then he does rally his dragon, and he gets Awaken the Beast off. We kill the eagle over here. And then this is actually where we ended up just calling that a game. It was kind of getting late at night. We were playing this on a weeknight. And at this point, my opponent felt one, he didn't really feel like he was going to be able to get the secondary, which was fair since those spearmen are in a pretty good shape to just chill. And I believe this is going into my turn 6, and he's got one more turn. Yeah, so really the only thing that's going to happen is I'm probably just going to. I wanted to try again. I thought about charging my dragon to his dragon because obviously that sounds awesome, but his dragon's got scarification up, so I just can't really do a whole lot. That's which is tough. And he's got plus some strength up, so he could actually really hurt my dragon. So it was probably just going to be move up with the dragon, move up with the repeater auxiliaries, try and pick off those art. My hydras was moving around the building. It was going to be able to move really close, and actually, it was probably going to be able to make a charge that turn. Maybe a long charge into one of those archer units. But yeah, my idea was just to maybe clean up the archers and maybe just zone, keep turning the temple militants around to look at the dragon just so that it can't just kind of not do whatever it wants. And we kind of figured he'd probably be able to push that chariot, make it flee, either catch it or maybe even get uh, the divine altar. So, and yep, that's where we end up leaving it. And yeah, it was a really fun game. I believe it's definitely a Dread Elf victory. It's pretty brutal. Actually, it was pretty interesting though because I only really lost my 25 spears, my Kraken, my Warlock Outcast, and I believe the militants are below 25%. So I actually held on to a nice, and the chariot's going to be fleeing at the end of the game. But other than that, I held on to a nice chunk of points. The Raptor Knights are all alive. The Hydra's only got 2 wounds on it. The Dragon doesn't have any wounds on it. The Warlocks have 3 guys. Characters and the Temple Militants are all fine. The auxiliaries are fine. So yeah, I actually pulled out of this fairly well, considering all the combat we had. So everybody, thanks for watching. Happy New Year, and look forward to seeing you out throughout the rest of this year with some more Ninth Age battle reports.